Good afternoon, everybody. Um, Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Shane Ajag. I am the Outreach Manager from PSS of Gulf Care. We want to welcome everybody today to our 1 hour presentation about the ways to pay for long-term care. Our today's presentation name is Ms. Cynthia Perthuis, and she is an elder care strategist. I don't know if some of you know about PSS Circle of Care. PSS is founded since 1962, has Presbyterian Senior Services, is an innovative multi-service nonprofit agency whose mission is to strengthen the capacity of older New Yorkers, their family, and community to thrive. PSS strive to build the capacity of its client, as well the capacity of the community to support its members. A little bit more about PSS of Care. It's a program that provides professional support at no cost for unpaid caregiver for a family member or friend who is chronically ill, frail, or has memory loss. We also has a kinship caregiver where someone other than a parent is caring for a child, or when a youth or young adult is caring for someone at any age. If you have any question, or if you know somebody that needs help, or is already caring for somebody that's have any type of memory issues, you can call our hotline on 866-665-1713. We also have a program called Coming of Age. It's a program that inspires people 50 plus to live with passion and purpose. We'll find all this information in our website. That's pssusa.org. So please, if you have any question, you can type your question on the Q&A box, or there's a chat room. You can also type in your question. We'll answer it as we go, and also at the end of the presentation. Miss Cynthia? Hello?
Thank you.
Okay, so we can start now. We already have like 16 participants. Do you want to wait another 2 more minutes?
We can wait. Let's just wait a couple more minutes and then we'll get started.
Okay, great. So we can do that.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started today. For those of you who are very timely, we want to make sure that we are cognizant of your time. Good afternoon, and thank you so much, PSS and PSS Circle of Care, for having me in this presentation. I also want to thank you all for joining me for a very important topic, and that topic is how can I pay for assisted living? This is presented either for yourself or for someone that you care about. So I am Cynthia Perthuis, and I'm an elder care strategist, and I'm an owner of Senior Care Authority. Today, I'm going to walk you through what I hope is a comprehensive list of methods to be able to afford assisted living. Now, this is a very high-level view of this financial landscape. So my team helps older people find a safe and healthy living option when they are ready to find a community that caters to their specific wants and needs. We work with people in the 5 boroughs of New York City, as well as the southwest coast of Florida. We work with a nationwide network, and we can help find assisted living and memory care anywhere in the United States and Canada. So a quick disclaimer before we get started. As I'm sure you are aware, assisted living can seem very expensive. You've worked all of your life to save money for your retirement. Sometimes your retirement does not look like you planned. You may not be as healthy as you predicted. You may not have as much money as you dreamed, and you may not have a partner or a support system that you feel like you need. What works for one person won't work for everyone. So keep in mind the things that we're going to talk about, some of them may apply to you and some of them may not, but I'm hoping that you can find a nugget. But I do hope that you didn't join me to find the silver bullet, because there is no silver bullet in this difficult situation. The information that we're about to discuss should not be construed as legal or tax advice. While my team has a very deep network of experts that can provide legal or tax advice, as well as real estate advice and medical advice, among other things. At the end of this presentation, I will tell you how to tap into that network. So just to give you a brief overview about our agenda, today we're going to discuss the payment options that you see here. But before we get started, let's just spend a few minutes talking about elder living options outside of being at home. So there are 3 living options on this slide, and they are very different. They're very different from each other in many ways, but one of the ways that they're very different that is important for this conversation is their cost. They're also very different from your mother's or your grandmother's nursing home. Each option is easy to understand if you focus on the name: independent, assisted, and memory. So let's talk about independent living. We all want to stay independent, and some of us have probably been accused of being too independent. This is a community that is either formal or informal and includes people that need little, if any, help with the activities of daily living. Those activities of daily living include dressing, eating, personal hygiene, walking, remembering activities, and medication management. Independent living is the lowest cost, but has the highest responsibilities. Independent living can include housekeeping services and some meals and activities included in the rent payment. However, the option of getting help with your care of your activities of daily living is solely the responsibility of the resident or the resident's family. So again, independent living is where independent people would live, just to be surrounded by people who are of their same age and their same level of skills. The next option would be assisted living. And assisted living is just what it says. It is assistance with living. This is a newer concept that really only started in 1984. Before that time, people went to nursing homes, and those were hospital settings that were around healthcare. Assisted living is a place, again, to join like-minded people who just need a little help. Maybe you need help with bathing, or you're not, and you feel unsafe in the shower, or you can't really reach your shoes to tie them. Maybe you need some help getting to a walker or a wheelchair, or maybe you forget what medicine to take. You need assistance in living. Assisted living always includes housekeeping, laundry, all meals and activities. That's included in the rent payment for assisted living. There is an additional payment in assisted living called a care payment, and that varies according to how much care you need. The last option that's on this elder living option page is memory care. Memory care is for those with a more advanced dementia, including Alzheimer's. Someone with memory issues, dementia issues, can still live in assisted living without going to a memory care special unit. However, when someone with a dementia diagnosis begins to wander or becomes unsafe, that's when they are moved to the memory care. Memory care is more expensive than assisted living, and this care is also the most expensive as it includes a 24/7 component. Now, none of the options on this page should be confused with skilled nursing, rehab, or a nursing home. Those are another level of care, and we're not going to be discussing payments for those on this webinar. They have a whole nother payment mechanism. So we're going to save that for another time. Today, we're going to talk about payment options and ways to pay for independent living, assisted living, and memory care. So on the elder living options, Whoops, let me go back here a minute. Sorry. On the elder living options, you want to make sure that you select the appropriate living option. You don't want to move to memory care until you or your loved one are ready to go. You can save money by staying in assisted living as long as possible before moving to a higher level of care. In your elder living options, you also want to make sure that you attempt to negotiate all fees. This is a transaction that is a very large transaction and can be a transaction that lasts for years to come. So you want to make sure that you are working to get the best possible payment plan and the best possible price in the beginning. You also should consider a smaller apartment than what you would like. You may be moving from an apartment that has 700 square feet, 1,000 square feet, 2,000 square feet, but that's not what you're going to be looking for in assisted living. One of the major benefits of living in an assisted living community is the activities. You will not be in your apartment very much because you are there to live an active life. And living an active life means going outside of the apartment to even as simple as watch TV or watch a movie or participate in activities. So you could live in a smaller location than you are used to living in now. So let's talk about the ways to pay. The very first and simplest way to pay is by using your income. It's a basic way of paying. There are many communities that are reasonable enough that your Social Security and your pension will pay for everything that you need to have paid for. People who have very strong pensions can use just their pension, and their Social Security payment can go to other things besides their living and their care. If you have investments such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, the interest on those investments can also add to your income as a way to pay for assisted living. And then if you have other income, such as rental properties or outside business interests, you are way ahead of the game. Using income to pay for your living expenses in assisted living means that you may never have to use any of your principal or your equity that you may be trying to save for your heirs. The next option is, if you don't have enough of the income, is to go to stocks and bonds and to use your liquid assets, such as stocks and bonds, 401k, IRAs, if you have artwork or boats or cars that you can sell. You can also secure a line of credit as a way to keep your investments invested, or bridge loans that use various assets as collateral. We'll talk about this a little bit more in a slide further along. One of the things that is an asset is your home. And so you may want to use your home. You could sell or you could rent your home. But there are some questions that you need to ask yourself and some experts when you're determining if you should sell or rent. Would you need a management company if you rented? How experienced are you with rental property? What does the market look like right now for selling your property? Is this the right season for selling your property? Some areas sell during the summer months, and some sell during the spring months, and some sell during what might be termed a seasonal month. If it's cold and people in the winter and people go there for the summer, that's when they sell. The season is in the winter. So you want to be aware of that season. Has the home been in the family for generations? Do your heirs, your children, your relatives, do they want that home? Do you have a mortgage? There's a number of questions that you want to list as you determine whether you should sell or whether you should rent. So let's talk about selling your home for a moment. Remember that the real estate market changes over time, and there is always a cycle. No one can predict when the cycle will be up or down. No one can predict the interest rates. No one can predict what's going on in the stock market or the global economy. So you cannot predict when is the exact perfect time to sell your home. When are you going to sell your home at the very top and the best price? It's unpredictable. Sometimes it's easier and quicker to simply sell the home as soon as you make a decision to move to another location. On the other hand, as you see in this second bullet, sometimes you feel like you've sold it early and you go away thinking that you've left money on the table. Another option with a home as an asset is to rent your home. If you choose to rent out your home, it can be a steady source of income that can be added to that income we discussed earlier. So you could have your Social Security, your pension, and your rental income, which gives you income to be able to pay for assisted living. It can be the steady source of income. It can also keep the home in the family. However, if you are not experienced with renting out property, there is a learning curve around the ins and outs of renting. Your children may not want the home, and you may have to hire a management company to operate the rental, and that lowers your income as well. You also want to be aware of where your home is located. Maybe it's not the appropriate place for rentals. Maybe it's not a place where people would want to rent. So you have to think about the neighborhood. All of these are questions that you want to keep in mind when you're trying to determine whether you should rent or whether you should sell. There are also some alternatives that you can do with your home as an asset. While the two simple things are you can sell or rent, there are these other alternatives. As we talked about earlier, you could take out a line of credit on the value of your home if you have equity or if you have paid off your mortgage. However, that line of credit will have to be paid back when you sell the home. So it's not free money, but it is a loan. Another method of getting cash from your home is through a reverse mortgage. You are probably shaking your head here, but there are many ways that make sense when considering alternative ways to use your home for paying for a different lifestyle. As you'll hear me say throughout this presentation, make sure you check with experts on any of these discussions and keep an open mind about all of the options for working with your home or other payment options. Another way is you can use your home to take out a bridge loan, similar to a line of credit, but a little bit different. This is a short-term loan that is quick and relatively easy to fund through some financial advisors. A bridge loan might help you pay your initial deposits and your initial payments for living in assisted living. Another option is various types of insurance. If you have a life insurance policy, no matter how small, no matter how large, you can not only borrow against it, but you could sell pieces of it to others in what is termed a life settlement. You can also simply cash in a whole life policy based on the terms of the policy. Some life insurance policies have long-term care riders, which we will discuss in the next slide, but you want to have a thorough understanding of any insurance policy that you have. And again, the best place to get that understanding is with an expert. In this example, a life insurance agent, whether it's your life insurance agent or someone who just simply sells life insurance. So let's talk a little bit about long-term care insurance, also you'll see known as LTC. I'm sure all of you have heard of long-term care insurance. You may also all be wishing that you had long-term care insurance. Some of these policies are very, very good. In fact, some of these policies are amazing. Others are not as good as they look. There are some people that will tell you it is never too late to buy a long-term care policy. However, less than 3% of Americans own a long-term care policy. There are a number of people who sell long-term care policies. And again, this is an opportunity for you to make sure that you are talking to an expert about this. You want to make sure that if you have a policy, that you review it, and that you have spoken with the company that gave you or sold you the policy so that you can understand the details. Long-term care policies, while very valuable, have some very tight stipulations. Some will pay directly to the community where you go, and some will pay you in a reimbursement. But all of them have very tight stipulations about when you qualify, and you should understand your qualifications and the ins and outs of your policy before you make a decision to even look at assisted living, because you need to understand what you have in your hand before you go and look. So, veterans benefits. Veterans benefits are a very misunderstood benefit. If you or your spouse ever served in the military, you need to look into this benefit. Even if your spouse was in the military and is deceased, so let's say that the wife was not in the military, but her husband had been in the military, but he has died, and he never filed for veterans benefits. The wife should still go and explore these benefits. They are very valuable. You may still be eligible. I cannot count the amount of money that I've seen left on the table because so many people forget about this benefit. It can help you with assisted living, but it can also help you with home care. Again, you must speak with an expert to help with the paperwork. This is a government benefit. It is very difficult to fill out the paperwork, or it can be very difficult to fill out the paperwork. It is it takes a long time to get these benefits in place. And you want to make sure you're working with an expert who sometimes will do this for the price that they will charge is a portion of what you're able to gain. So it's a very, again, a forgotten benefit that you should look into. Now, this presentation has been mainly focused on private pay options for assisted living. However, I must mention Medicaid. Remember that Medicaid is a government health insurance plan for the financially needy. While it is a wonderful program for those that need it, the waiting list for a Medicaid community can be long, and the application process is lengthy. Again, you would be best served, if you are considering this route, to talk to an expert. Sometimes there are consultants that can help you with both veteran benefits and Medicaid. But you need to be very, very careful and do your homework before hiring someone to help with this. There are a lot of people in the marketplace that claim to be able to help you file your Medicaid applications, and claim to be able to help you find a place to go with the use of Medicaid. And it is very important that you do the research on who those people are before you pay them any money and before you begin to work with them. This process can be very long. It can also be done in a matter of 30 days, depending upon your situation. So again, I probably sound like a broken record, but make sure you're working with an expert who can help you with Medicaid. Last but not least, I want to encourage you to not rule out the financial generosity of your friends and family. This is a time of need for families, and there are people within friends and family who will be able to help you with this if you reach your dead end and cannot financially manage these situations. Keep in mind, did you babysit for your grandchildren for years so that their parents, your children, could save money on daycare and advance their careers? And while you did this for love, You also didn't charge them for that. Did you help any of your friends or any of your family members in a time of financial need? And maybe that's the reason you need some help now. I want to encourage you not to be proud and independent at this time of your life. Your village loves and cares about your safety and well-being, and you may be surprised, pleasantly surprised, at the ways they can help you from a financial standpoint. One other thing to think about that is not necessarily a way to pay for long-term care, but it is a way to make sure that you are getting the best possible tax deductions. There are a number of possible tax deductions around long-term care. There are deductions for unreimbursed cost. These deductions can include fees paid to assisted living, fees paid to healthcare. They can include fees paid to care managers who come and help you put together a plan for how to take care of yourself. Make sure that you speak with your accountant or with your financial planner, and make sure that you do not forget the tax deductions when tax time rolls around. So I want to review just a moment and remind you that long-term care can seem expensive and it can feel financially overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be that way. You want to make sure you look at the list of all of the things that are included when you are discussing long-term care. And when you're making comparisons, that you're making comparisons apples to apples. So rent at assisted living covers food. It covers the apartment. It covers the maintenance of that apartment. It covers the upkeep of that apartment. It covers housekeeping. It covers utilities. It covers activities. Those activities can include sporting activities, workout activities, different yoga classes. It can include classes in mahjong and bridge. It can include, it includes movies on a regular basis. Some places have movies every night. It includes lectures, and it can include field trips to other places, and discounted tickets to Broadway, or discounted tickets to the symphony, or discounted tickets to Atlantic City on a bus. Those things all need to be compared side by side, and know that you may think I only pay X for the rent or my mortgage, but I'm paying 2X to go to assisted living. But that 2X can also includes, again, utilities, housekeeping, food, activities, maintenance. So you want to make sure you're looking at both of those things side by side. You should surround yourself with a team of experts, and that team of experts is listed here. Elder strategists, accountants, elder law attorneys, financial wealth planners, money managers, real estate agents, a Medicaid and or a VA consultant, a gerontologist, an estate liquidator. These people can all help you. And again, the broken record, they are the key, because you cannot do this alone. No matter how little or how much money you have, you cannot make these decisions by yourself or in a vacuum. Some of these experts charge a fee, and others can provide services at no charge. If you're interested in recommendations for these experts, feel free to send me an email, which you'll see my email contact at the end, and I can get you some information on suggestions for different experts in these fields based on your specific circumstances. So one of the things that I want you to remember is that this is your life and this is your money. You need to make informed decisions that protect your life and your money. You've worked hard for your savings, and you need to find ways to be safe and healthy while enjoying your life as you age. I know that we've probably raced through this presentation, and I'm hoping that you have some questions for me, and I'll be glad to answer those. I want to thank you for your time and attention, and I hope that you took away at least one new piece of information. Feel free to email me if you have any questions or if you'd like a copy of this presentation. I want you to stay healthy, and I want you to focus on the possibilities. And I'd also like to take some questions if we have any at this time.
Thank you, Cynthia. It was a really informative presentation. If you guys have any question, you can just type it in a Q&A box. So we'll answer it, or the chat part. Okay, that's one. You can see it, Cynthia, right?
You know, I cannot, oh wait, yes, I can see them.
Yes.
No, I can't see them. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll read it.
Okay.
So yes, we can. Somebody asking if we are going to do the presentation again because they came late. If you need the information, you can email directly Cynthia. She will forward you the PowerPoint. But we can reschedule it. We don't have a date yet to reschedule, but we can reschedule.
Also, this presentation, you have a link as well where it's a replay, correct?
Yes, we have a link on PSS USA/event. So if you go to our website, you'll find the link and all the information from today's presentation.
And Shayna, could you email that link to the people who signed up for this event?
Yes, I can do that. Yes. There's a question. Could you review Medicaid pool trust and the other options?
So I can a little bit because I am not a Medicaid expert, but I can tell you that community pool trust is a way to apply for Medicaid that will pay for care in your home. It can pay up to 24/7, but again, anything with Medicaid is, there's a lot of work to it, a lot of hoops that you have to jump through, and you have to file, and sometimes you have to appeal to be able to get as much care as you believe that you need, or you believe that your loved one needs, because they're going to be very conservative about what they do for you. And that's the community pooled trust. And that's about as far as I can go with you on this, because I am not the expert on community pooled trust. Institutional Medicaid is for care within an institution, and it's a different application, a different application process. And if you go in one direction with community pooled, you cannot get them both at the same time. You can move from community pooled, again, which is for your home care. You can move from that Medicaid program to institutional, but institutional is more difficult to qualify for. That's about as far as I can go with the Medicaid.
Okay. So again, the presentation will be on our website in 1 or 2 days. So I will share the link to everybody that registered today. So you can just follow the link and you'll find everything from today's presentation. If you email Cynthia, it's cynthia@seniorcareauthority.com. And if you have any additional question for her, she can answer that. And if possible, send also the information for today's webinar. Again, thank you, Cynthia. That was really good.
Thank you, Shayna.
And
everybody.
Thank you, everybody, and have a great day. Are you still here, Cynthia? Oh, she left. I'm so sorry. So if you guys have...
I'm still here, Shayna.
Oh, okay. So there's one more question.
Okay.
It says, what do you suggest when having issue with getting POA from a loved one, and do you need it?
That's a very, very good question. As far as a POA, power of attorney, Everyone should have a power of attorney. Everyone sitting on this call should have a power of attorney. I heard someone say once, you know, who needs a power of attorney? If you're single, if you're married, if you have children, if you don't have children, if your children like you, if your children don't like you. Everyone needs to have a power of attorney. The sooner you get them, the better, because as people age, it's difficult to get someone who is aging to understand or want to give up some more power. They're already giving up power, and now they're giving up power of attorney to a loved one or not. An attorney can help you have that discussion to get a power of attorney. That's one alternative. Another alternative is there is an expert. They're not on my expert list, but there are people who are what are termed fiduciaries. They are people who can take the power of attorney. I'm just going to say it's your father. You can't get your father to give you his power of attorney. You can go to a fiduciary, and they also have a very understanding and a way that they can talk with people to get them to give this non-family member the power of attorney. Now, that sometimes is more palatable to the father because he's not giving it to his child, because maybe he has to make a decision between the three children and he doesn't want to hurt anybody's feeling. Or maybe he doesn't trust the children for whatever reason. But this fiduciary can take that power of attorney so that there is someone who has it. You know, I say that the best gift my parents ever gave to me in my entire life was 30 years ago. They put together their power of attorney very far before they ever needed to have that, so that when the time came, it was a very simple process for me to be able to care for my parents and to have their power of attorney. I believe that if they had waited until the time they needed it, it would have been difficult for me to get that power of attorney. But elder law attorneys can help you structure that discussion and can help have that discussion with people, as well as experts who serve in a fiduciary manner. I hope that helps.
Yes. A last question. I'm not sure if it's the person mentioned that the list that you provided is very helpful, but it's a little bit overwhelming for them. So where do you think they should start? Who's the first person to contact, or which one of them?
Well, I of course, I'm going to selfishly tell you that the first person you need to speak to is the first person on the list, which is an elder care strategist. Of course, that's what I do. But if you choose not to go to an elder care strategist to help you, then the next one that you would want to contact is an elder law attorney. And I do have a network of people that I work with. And if you would send me an email, I'd be glad to send me an email with just a couple of details, or give me an opportunity to ask you about the details. And then I could recommend 2 or 3 that fit within your situation that you can talk to. You can also talk to them and get a lot of information in your first call before you make an appointment and go in and spend a lot of money. You can do a little brief interview with them to find out if it's even a person you would be interested in speaking with, and they can sometimes answer some broad questions for you on the phone before you go and meet with them for a paid meeting. I can see the questions now. So,
okay, good. Okay.
An elder care strategist works to put together a strategy for the care of an elder person. And traditionally, we do that. There's an assessment where we will talk to you, again, no charge, the first time, and find out what things that you need. If you're looking for assisted living, we do that work at no charge to the family, because we are paid by assisted living communities throughout the 5 boroughs. I would say 99% of them pay us as a marketing arm to help bring people to them. But we are knowledgeable about all of the living situations in the 5 boroughs, and we can help guide you towards the ones that work for your situation. However, some people will stay at home. We can also work together to get you in front of all the experts you need and share our network with you. And sometimes we charge for that, and sometimes we don't, according to the circumstances and according to the work that is involved. Sometimes it's as simple as handing you the names and letting you do the work. But if you need us to do the work for you, then we charge for that service. So that's what elder care strategists do. We try to help you, support you. It's the position that I wish had been there for me with my parents, because I became overwhelmed with helping my parents, one of which had Alzheimer's and one didn't, of trying to find places when there was so many different options to me. Let's see if do I see other questions here? So I see here another one. I guess maybe I answered that question about health strategist. We have resources. Yes, I have resources who are in Nassau County. So while I cover the 5 boroughs, I have colleagues that cover Nassau and Suffolk, and I have colleagues that cover Westchester, Connecticut, and colleagues that cover New Jersey. We all work together as a team because this part of the country is very fluid. So if you can send me your contact, I'll make sure I get you with the right person who can help you in Nassau County. Shayna, do you think I got all the questions answered here?
I think so. I think you have all the question answered.
Okay. Well, again, feel free to reach out to me and I will be glad to help you as best I can. And I appreciate your attention. And I hope this gave you some things to think about as you're working through this long process.
Thank you. Thank you again, everybody. Like Cynthia said, you can send her an email if you have additional question, and the webinar also will be up online to our website, pssusa.org. And I will email everyone that registered today for this presentation. I will email you the link. Thank you again, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.